So we thought we would give you darshan of this and do another reading while we're here and in this space. So we're going to continue from where we left off.
Canto 4, Chapter 25, Text 33.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
It made it work. It's like little and large. 6:33. The girl said, "O best of human beings, I do not know who has begotten me. I cannot speak to you perfectly about this, nor do I know the names or the origin of the associates with me." Purport. The living entity is ignorant of his origin. He does not know why this material world was created, why others are working in this material world, and what the ultimate source of this material manifestation is. No one knows the answers to these questions, and this is called ignorance. By researching into the origin of life, important scientists are finding some chemical compositions or cellular combinations. But actually, no one knows the original source of life within this material world. The phrase Brahma Jignasa is used to indicate an inquisitiveness to know the original source of our existence in this material world. No philosopher, scientist, or politician actually knows where from we have come, why we are here, struggling so hard for existence, and where we will go. Generally, people are of the opinion that we are all here accidentally, and that as soon as these bodies are finished, all our dramatic activities...
So you can go like this.
Yeah, okay. And that as soon as these bodies are finished, all our dramatic activities will be finished and we will become zero. Such scientists and philosophers are impersonalists and voidists. In this verse, the girl is expressing the actual position of the living entity. She cannot tell Puranjan her father's name because she does not know from where she has come, nor does she know why she is present in that place. She frankly says that she does not know anything about all this. This is the position of the living entity in the material world. There are so many scientists, philosophers, and big leaders, but they do not know where from they have come, nor do they know why they are busy within this material world to obtain a position of so-called happiness. In this material world, we have many nice facilities for living, but we are so foolish that we do not ask who has made this world habitable for us.
Habitable.
And has arranged it so nicely. Everything is functioning in order, but people foolishly think that they are produced by chance in this material world, and that after death they will become zero. They think that this beautiful place of habitation will automatically remain. It's interesting, people might read this and think, oh, it's a bit dramatic, don't know where you came from, but actually, there ain't that many. It's, you speak to the average person. Like my parents were married for 60 years, and I know who they are, but not everyone knows who's my daddy, maybe even who's my mum,
You mean who's their daddy or their mom? Of course, they might not know who's your daddy and who's your mom.
No, it's all right. I don't need a...
Okay.
I don't need a side narration. So, exactly. And it's so you don't even know who your father is because your mother doesn't know, in this life. So we can't be arguing, no, you don't know where the living entity came, how they got here, why they're here. Even the basics day to day, we don't know. People don't know, So
don't know.
It's like, it's interesting that people, you can argue like that, and this isn't the meaning of life, and this is how it should be. You can't even say that. Yeah. Someone might think, yes, I do. This is my mum and dad, and then maybe on their deathbed, the parents are like, we didn't have to tell you this, but we adopted you. And then you're like, well, who am I? Like that's even people that think they know. So what to speak of the origin of the living entity coming here and our purpose and our reason to be here. It's much bigger than just saying, yeah, these people are religious sentimentalists and they believe in some make-believe God and trying to dovetail everything to that make-believe person, that's why we're here. But you don't even know the basics, you know?
On that point, it just reminded me that when I were a younger man, and we used to write music, I used to write a lot of poetry, and one of the lyrics I wrote for a song that we did was, the song was called You Think You Know Me. And one of the lyrics was, you think you know me, but you don't even know my name. And I remember I was able to write that with authority because actually I was aware that I wasn't even sure of what my name was, because there's a whole backstory to that which I'm not going to get into. But it made me realize that when you're saying that, yeah, we don't even know the basics of what's going on. We don't even really know how oxygen is going into our lungs and, you know, filling up our blood with oxygen. We don't know how the food that we have for lunch or dinner is digesting. We don't know how we're actually hearing and interpreting the language that's being spoken into our ears into a way that we understand it, and why someone who doesn't understand English it doesn't just work for them. So many things that we don't know, right? So you think you know me, but you don't even know my name.
Okay.
Okay, I better read now. Text 34. Oh, great hero, we only know that we are existing in this place. We do not know what will come after. Indeed, we are so foolish that we do not care to understand who has created this beautiful place for our residence. Purport. This lack of Krishna consciousness is called ignorance. So a lot of emphasis going on avidya at the moment. In Srimad Bhagavatam 5.5.5, it is called Parabhavas Tavad Abodha Jataha. Everyone is born ignorant. Parabhavas Tavad Abodha Jataha. Everyone is born ignorant. The Bhagavatam therefore says we are all born ignorant within this material world. In our ignorance, we may create nationalism, philanthropy, internationalism, science, philosophy, and so many other things. The basic principle behind all these is ignorance. What then is the value of all this advancement of knowledge if the basic principle is ignorance? Unless a person comes to Krishna consciousness, all of his activities are defeated. This human form of life is especially meant to dissipate ignorance. But without understanding how to dissipate ignorance, people are planning and building many things. After death, however, all of this is finished. Interesting. So, yes, a lot is in there. Ignorance is the key. Becoming Krishna consciousness and defeating ignorance is important. But often we're ignorant of how to defeat ignorance, so therefore we just act in such a way that we think maybe what we're doing makes sense or is the right thing to do. But actually, Prabhupada then concludes purport by saying, but at the time of death, all that's finished. So all of the efforts that we've put in to the material energy in this life at the time of death, they're just finished. We're not taking any of them with us. Now, of course, there is an aspect to that, which is that we do carry some subtle aspects with us. Karma also will carry over into the next life. So theoretically, if you've been a very pious person, you'll get some pious things. If you've been a very...
naughty.
Okay, naughty is a nice word. If you've been a naughty person, then you'll get naughty deeds in the future. So like that, then something definitely does get carried over. But the general principle of, hey, I've worked so hard my whole life to acquire X amount of properties or put so much money in the bank or to acquire big knowledge, or to build big muscles. And at the time of death, all of that is basically gone. Sorry to say that. Sorry to let you know. Them's the facts.
All right. After text 35, my dear gentlemen, all these men and women with me are known as my friends. And the snake who always remains awake protects this city even during my sleeping hours. So much I know, I do not know anything beyond this. Purport. Paranjan inquired from the woman about those 11 men and their wives and the snake. The woman gave a brief description of them. She was obviously without full knowledge of her surrounding men and women and the snake. As stated before, the snake is the vital force of the living being. This vital force always remains awake, even when the body and the senses become fatigued and do no work. Even in the state of unconsciousness when we sleep, the snake or the life force remains intact and awake. Consequently, we dream when we sleep. When the living entity gives up this material body, the vital force still remains intact and is carried to another material body. That is called transmigration or change of the body. We have come to know this process as death. Actually, there is no death. The vital force always exists with the soul, and when the soul is awakened from so-called sleep, he can see his 11 friends or the active senses and the mind with their various desires, wives. The vital life force remains. Even during our sleeping hours, we can understand by virtue of our breathing process that the snake lives by eating the air that passes through this body. Air is exhibited in the form of breathing, and as long as breath is there, one can understand that a sleeping man is alive. Even when the gross body is asleep, the vital force remains active and alive to protect the body. Thus, the snake is described as living and eating air to keep the body fit for life.
Interesting.
So the snake is life, consciousness.
Well, the snake was described earlier. Much earlier on, actually.
Here it says the snake is the vital force always exists with the soul.
Yeah.
It isn't the soul. The snake is not the soul.
Snake is not the soul, yeah. You're
Which
saying
is-
it's the vital force.
Well, Prabhupada said that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't say it.
Okay.
So I would take it that's like consciousness, the mind. And it travels, the subtle body basically, because it says it travels with us when we transmigrate from one body to another. So the subtle body transmigrates when we leave this body, which we call death, to go to another body. But why it's like compared to a snake? Because snake, it doesn't give off a very positive imagery.
Says the... Sorry, you done?
Yeah, I was just waiting for you
I
because
know
you were
you're
not
biding time.
focused on the readers.
I was focused. I was aching.
No, but you weren't
The
looking at
woman
it.
was protected on all sides by a 5-hooded snake. She was very beautiful and young. This is text 21. Appeared very anxious to find a suitable husband. So then Prabhupada says in the purport there, the vital force of a living entity includes the 5 kinds of air. That's right.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yes. So the snake was 5-hooded, and therefore it was compared to the 5 types of air, which is prana, apana, vyana, samana, and udana. The vital force is compared to a serpent because a serpent can live by simply drinking air. So, the vital force carried by the air is described as pratihara, or the bodyguard. Without the vital force, one cannot live for a moment. Indeed, all the senses are working under the protection of the vital force. So there you go. Amazing.
Yes, amazing.
Amazing. Where are we? Which verse? 35?
6.
36. No, I don't think so. Well, did you finish that? You finished that purport?
Yeah.
35?
Well, of course.
Of course, right. Let's see, 36.
I think we should stop because someone needs to charge the microphone.
Oh yeah, it's just going
And you
into
know,
the red.
those who are regular viewers, you know we've had many situations where we've recorded a whole thing because someone, mentioning no names, doesn't charge them regularly.
Someone never charges them.
Yeah, because someone they do that part and I do the editing and uploading.
Now that's
part.
an important. Thank you for that. And I just want to have a little shout out and acknowledge my amazing and wonderful partner, life partner here.
Okay, but let's not.
She actually edits and uploads every one of these videos herself. She takes so much time, painstakingly does it. And yeah, I think just giving her a big shout out, put something down, in the chat down below, and let her know that you appreciate it. I really appreciate you for doing that. Thank you. I really want to express my gratitude. It's not an easy thing, but she just is able to get it done. So thank you, Bhava Bhakti.
Thank you. On a separate note, please remember to charge the microphones.
And I do that, but I sometimes scream it up.
Would they know?
Okay. Thanks, everybody. We like to keep a bit of drama in the program.
No, you do.
No, you do.
No, I
No, you do. You do. All right, see you guys
Hare
later. Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.